your forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
How about that view of a beautiful day? Champaign, the blue skies, a couple of clouds in there. Felt really good if you had the opportunity to get out. If you haven't, you can probably peek your head outside here sometime this evening. Look at the sunshine that we've got across the area. Clouds out across Indiana, but here in central Illinois, all sunshine and temperatures that made it into the mid and upper 50s. But tomorrow is actually going to be even warmer for us. As highs will be climbing into the 60s. So if you're heading out and about as we go throughout this evening, you're going to find very comfortable temperatures. And we'll talk about how things warm up closer to 70 when it occurs. Coming up, WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
The baloney bullet line that they're telling is that they have concerns with the labs.
More than 100 people who came to get tested for the coronavirus were turned away. Why a doctor and the public health district are butting heads.
This is a reality that dying from this disease is here in our own community.
2 people are dead in a single central Illinois county. We'll tell you where they were living. And nurses, doctors, and more are coming out of retirement. How they're helping in the fight against COVID-19.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 5.
I guarantee you one thing. I guarantee you I'm going to find a spot in Champaign County where I can do some testing for people who want to get tested.
A drive-up testing clinic was canceled at the last minute and dozens of people were turned away. Good evening, I'm Jennifer Roscoe. It happened this morning in a parking lot at the First Christian Church in Champaign. Now the doctor who organized the drive-up wants to file for an injunction. He's even reaching out to the governor's office. WCIA 3's Jen Lask has more.
I was here in the morning as dozens of cars were turned away from First Christian Church, some drivers even stopping to ask me what was going on. More than 100 people signed up in advance for the drive-up clinic, and healthcare workers in hazmat suits were ready to go. But then the church announced just 30 minutes before the clinic was going to start that it would postpone after speaking to the CU Public Health District. The decision angering Dr. Tom Plura, who watched it all unfold before police asked him to leave.
So the baloney line that they're telling is that they have concerns with the lab.
Plura says he would have been able to give 8,000 tests, including some for those without symptoms.
Fevers, cough, cold symptoms, been exposed. I don't know how many people said they had a known exposure to coronavirus, and they can't get tested.
And that's where he and the public health district are at odds, and the church is caught in the middle. CUPHD says CDC guidelines instruct doctors to only administer tests to people who show symptoms.
If the Christian church doesn't want to do it, I guarantee you one thing. I guarantee you I'm going to find a spot in Champaign County where I can do some testing for people who want to get tested.
Plura says he took back thousands of unused tests after he was kicked off the property. In Champaign, Jen Lask, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Plura says for now he will do the tests in his own clinic on Green Street in Champaign. And as Jen mentioned, that postponement came from a recommendation from the CU Public Health Department. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting is live in the parking lot where testing would have just wrapped up. Courtney, you talked with public health leaders. What did they say about all of this?
Well, Jennifer, I talked with Public Health Administrator Julie Pride, and she says she decided to recommend the postponement because she wanted to have a conversation and touch base with Plura beforehand. Now, during that conversation this afternoon, she says he told her how he was planning to go about the testing process. Pride says he told her he'd be following CDC guidelines. As Jen mentioned earlier, those guidelines include not testing people without symptoms. However, when we talked to Plura during the planning of the testing process, he told us he would be testing anyone who wanted a test. And to be clear, the health district does not have the authority to shut down a testing location on its own.
There still is a scarcity of testing all the way across the United States. So even private labs are to be testing using their resources for testing within the guidance of the CDC. And there is no guidance just to test everyone, everywhere, whether they're symptomatic or not.
Drive-through testing is being offered throughout the country as well as some within the state. I asked Pride if the CU Public Health District is considering hosting a drive-through testing service here. She says they aren't against the idea, but again, talked about that shortage of tests. Now, Pride also talked about she wanted to reassure people that there is still an 80% recovery for the novel coronavirus, and she said the best thing people can do is stay at home if they are experiencing symptoms. Reporting in Champaign, Courtney Bunting, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
And of course, that was some of the concern with all of those people showing up perhaps there today about a large group of people, even though they would be in their cars. People didn't think it was a safe place for people to be. Courtney, thank you so much. Now, Pride says Plura indicated he was planning to offer testing at another church in the area. She didn't say what church, but she did say he told her he would only be testing people with symptoms under CDC guidance. Two of the seniors who lived in the Taylorville Rolling Meadows Senior Home have died from the coronavirus. These are the first deaths related to COVID-19 in Christian County. The coroner says the man and woman were both in their 80s. They died at Taylorville Memorial Hospital. They are not being identified until family members are notified. The coroner says the county's health department is working on a follow-up investigation, but for now, the situation is difficult to those close to it.
Today is a tough day. For many of these are not just two cases in Christian County. These are two people whose family and friends are suffering the loss of loved ones from this virus that does not discriminate.
Christian County's Public Health Department says the other two patients who went to the hospital from the senior home remain in the same condition. A public health nurse is checking in on remaining residents each day while they live under quarantine. Now, public health officials traced one of the senior home residents who caught the coronavirus back to a church service where another patient had also attended. Today, Governor Pritzker pleaded with pastors to plan ahead to find ways to live stream their Easter services so people can go watch without being there in person.
I understand how important worship is, and especially in these moments, but it can be done virtually, and I would suggest that people should never, despite the desire on Easter to get together, to celebrate together, to worship together, I would still tell people, please stay home.
The governor suggested church members should contact their pastors to find out what online options they may have available to them. The Department of Public Health announced a total of 42 new deaths from the coronavirus today. That is the highest number of lives lost we've seen yet. They also announced 986 new cases. That brings the total number of cases in Illinois to nearly 7,000. and 141 deaths. Two medical professionals decided to come out of retirement and return to work at the Sangamon County Health Department. Stephanie Standish and Maggie Patterson are registered nurses. They were retired for a few years, but now they are back, helping cover the day-to-day work around the building so the other nurses can focus on the people in their care and the pandemic.
I think we're helping to ease some of the burden on some of the folks that are here, and if we can do that, why not?
I was excited to do that because I enjoy my time in infectious disease and felt like I had some skills that I could offer to them to help out. And
Governor Pritzker called on any medical professional to come out of retirement to help. The state waived all fees to renew a license. So far, the state's gotten 1,200 applications. It is starting to look like spring out there, but it's going to be a while until some parks do too, where springtime preparations are going to the wayside. Plus, online learning has started. We are checking in with a group of first graders on how they think it's going so far.